Hey, what's up guys? Hardleg Joe here, coming at you with the Deck profile for episode 176, Shiranui Toolbox 2019 edition. For our monster lineup, we're playing 2 Shiranui Samurai, 3 Mizuki, 2 Shiranui Squire, 3 Spirit Master, 3 Solitaire, 3 Unizombie, 1 Shiranui Spectral Sword Shade, 3 Ash Blossom, 1 regular Shiranui Spectral Sword, and 1 Shiranui Swordmaster. For spells, we're playing 3 each of Pot of Desires, Ghost Meets Girl, a Shiranui story, Twin Twisters, and Shiranui-style Solemnity. For traps, we're playing 3 Shiranui-style Swallow Slash and 3 Shiranui-style Samsara. Our extra deck consists of 2 Shiranui Squire Saga, 2 Shogun Saga, and 1 each of Sun Saga, Yugioh, the Graceful Mayakashi, Psyframe Lord Omega, Samurai Saga, Revived King Hades, Sword Saga, Shiranui Skill Saga Supremacy, The Nightmares Unicorn Phoenix and Cerberus, and finally Vampire Sucker. The side deck I'll go over in a little bit. So this is a toolbox deck, which means it's all about going second, looking at your opponent's board, and then picking the right tools to fight it. We've got a variety of removal options in this deck, from targeting and non-targeting destruction, to banishment, to just good old-fashioned high-attack monsters. We also have a couple ways to search in this deck, allowing you to grab the tool you need. But if you don't have access to those, the Shiranuis also offer a few stall and recovery options, so that you can hopefully survive long enough to strike back, and do so with a vengeance. To start with, though, let's just go over your main tools. Most of the main deck Shiranuis have effects that activate when they are banished. Samurai grabs a Shiranui from your graveyard to your hand, except a copy of itself. Squire lets you draw a card and then discard a card. Spirit Master can target and destroy a face-up card the opponent controls. Solitaire can summon a banished Shiranui, except itself. And Swordmaster gives a zombie monster 600 attack until the end of the turn or whatever. As for how to get these banished, a lot of our tools do that when activating or resolving their effects. Samurai has a quick effect that allows it to banish a zombie from the graveyard, and for the rest of the turn it gains 600 attack, and any monster that battled it is banished after damage calculation. It's not the greatest removal since you have to battle the monster you want to banish, but it is non-targeting banishment, which will activate even if Samurai is destroyed by that battle, and it allows you to banish a Shiranui in the process. Spirit Master, meanwhile, summons a Shiranui from the hand or graveyard when it's normal summoned, but that monster is banished when it leaves the field. This allows you to make quick link monsters that will also activate the effect of whatever Shiranui that you summoned. Moving down to our synchros, Squire Saga is a level 7 that can, once per turn, banish a face-up monster you control or a monster in your graveyard, and then get effects depending on what you banished. If it was a zombie, all monsters you control get 300 attack permanently. If it was a fire attribute monster, you can destroy a spell trap on the field, and if it was a synchro, you can destroy one monster on the field. These effects all stack, and none of them target, so if you banish a fire zombie synchro, like one of your Shiranuis or Yugioh, then you can do all 3 of those effects. Our final main tool is Shiranui Shogun Saga, a level 8 synchro that banishes a zombie from the graveyard whenever it's special summoned, and it gains attack equal to the monster it banished until the end of the turn. Not only can this activate your other monsters, but it can easily get itself up past 4,000 in the process, allowing you to OTK on an open field, or get rid of high-attack monsters that are otherwise immune to removal. Now there are a few other tools in this deck, but they aren't really key components to the playstyle, and they can be replaced with whatever you want. Like Omega can be decent in the grind game, it can allow you to put your Mizukis back in the graveyard. The Nightmares can do generic removal, and Revived King Hades can be really great for dealing with floaters and such. But these are only useful in very niche situations, so I'm not really going to talk about them in depth. If you want to play this deck yourself, read over them, decide if you want them, or slot in something else, maybe generic links like Borolo Dragon, or other synchros like Red Eye Zombie Necro Dragon. Likewise, we have a section of cards in here that are useful in a wide variety of situations, but because we can't search them or summon them consistently, I hesitate to call them tools. Just looking at the extra deck, both Sun Saga and Skill Saga are both awesome boss monsters with great effects, but you can't consistently make them. They're good options to play when the opportunity arrives, but I'm not really going to elaborate too much on them since they aren't key to the deck either. Non-toolbox cards that I would consider key to the deck, however, are the Shiranui spell traps. With the exception of Ghost Meets Girl, these can't really be activated reliably, and if you want to make this deck competitive, or even close to competitive, I would start by removing these. But they allow for so many interesting and fun plays that I decided to go with them despite their flaws. Shiranui-style Solemnity is a continuous spell card that says once per turn, you can activate one of these two effects. Either banish a zombie from your graveyard, and for the rest of the turn, summons of zombies can't be negated, or banish a zombie you control, and send one zombie with 0 defense from your deck to the graveyard. Despite summon negation not really being a problem in the current game, I play this mostly for the first effect, just because it lets you banish a zombie from the grave as a cost, allowing you to activate your Shiranuis and extend your plays. The second effect is also decent. It works like a foolish burial for the Shiranuis, since they all have 0 defense. The cost of tributing a monster is usually too high, but if you have this and a Mizuki in your hand, the combo can effectively let you summon any Shiranui from the deck, so it has a little bit of utility there. Shiranui-style Swallow Slash, meanwhile, is an awesome offensive card. You can tribute a zombie monster, target and destroy 2 cards on the field, and then banish a Shiranui from the deck. So not only is it great removal, but it has the added toolbox effect of being able to banish whatever you need for the current moment. In stark contrast to this is our last trap, Shiranui-style Samsara, which is a great defensive card. It's a continuous trap that, like Solemnity, has 2 effects that you can choose between. Either banish a face-up zombie monster and take no damage for the rest of that turn, even if this card leaves the field, or target 2 banished zombies with 0 defense, shuffle them into the deck, and draw a card. So not only does this let you Wabaku every turn while activating a Shiranui's banish effect in the process, but it lets you recycle and draw on your turn, making it the perfect archetypal stall card. Our last remaining Shiranui spell, and probably the best one, is also one of our main searchers. Ghost Meets Girl - a Shiranui's story is a quick play that says if your opponent controls a monster, you discard a zombie from your hand, and special summon a Shiranui with a different name from your deck or graveyard. But you can only summon zombies for the rest of this turn. This effectively lets you set up the graveyard while also getting any tool from the deck, and not only can it be used on your turn to get your plays started, but you can even set it and use it defensively by summoning something like Samurai, who can then banish something during your opponent's turn. It sucks if you go first, or if your opponent has no monsters, but that's kind of why this is a go-second deck. As for the rest of the cards in here, let's just run through them briefly. Swordmaster is a one-of. You mostly use it to boost attack, though it can summon itself from the graveyard if you control 2 Shiranuis, which can allow you to make your bigger boss monsters. Ash Blossom is of course a nice hand trap in general, especially going second, but I played it because it has some extra synergy with the Shiranui, since it's a fire zombie tuner that can be used to actually make some of your plays. Mizuki is a staple of any zombie deck. Squire, when normal summoned, lets you summon a spectral sword from your hand or deck, allowing you to go into either a level 6 or level 7 synchro at your leisure. Solitaire can tribute a zombie to summon a zombie tuner with 0 defense from the deck, which mostly gets you Unizombie, another staple that lets you send any of your tools from the deck or hand to the graveyard, or one of the 2 previously mentioned Spectral Swords. The original level 2 Spectral Sword can essentially synchro summon from the grave by banishing itself and a non-tuner zombie, which will trigger your Shiranui's banish effects while putting a body on board. Meanwhile, the new Spectral Sword Shade can tribute itself to target 2 banished zombies, including 1 Shiranui, and special summon both of them. The monsters are in defense position and their effects are negated, but you can link or synchro summon with them as a roundabout way to get your banished cards back into the graveyard. Finally, we just have our generic tech cards, Pot of Desires for draw power, and Twin Twisters for spell trap removal. Neither has much synergy with the deck, other than Twin Twisters can get zombies in the graveyard. I just feel like you need both draw power and spell trap removal in the modern game, but you can replace these with whatever you want, if you want. All that leaves us with, then, is the side deck, which is mostly just cards that you can use to convert this into Ballardrock Turbo. If you're unfamiliar with this thing, it's pretty brutal. When a zombie activates its effects, you can either negate it, or non-targeting banish a monster from the field or the graveyard. You can use each of these effects once per turn during either player's turn, and they become absolutely devastating when paired with Zombie World, which turns all your opponent's monsters into zombies, giving you both a negate and a banish during their turn if they try to activate monster effects. As if that weren't enough, if Ballardrock is in the graveyard during your standby phase and you control a field spell, you can summon it in defense mode. So even if your opponent destroys it, you just get it back again. Along with this thing, we have Necroworld Banshee, who searches and protects Zombie World, as well as Glow Up Bloom, who searches Ballardrock. If you want this to be a much more effective deck, take out the whole bottom row of Shiranui spell traps, 1 Samurai, 1 Squire, and just replace it with all of this. It'll be pretty linear. Instead of a toolbox of zombies, you'll mostly just be summoning this thing and sitting on it. But it is much more effective, much more powerful, and it works really well going first, unlike the regular Shiranuis. The final 4 cards in here are mostly just other options for this deck. This I would actually run in the side deck just in case you need it. The others I would go over, but this video is long enough already, so I'm just going to hover over them for a moment, and you can figure out in the comments why they might or might not be effective. Anyway, there's the deck. I hope you enjoy it. If you'd like to see Shiranui Toolbox in action, you can check out the main video. There I'll be playing 10 random duels against opponents on YGOPro, showing off how it works. Or if you're short on time, just check out the replay video. Both should be on the end card and linked down in the description. Until next time, good luck, and have fun.